Greetings and welcome to another Alpha Magnus review. Today we've got, not the Godzilla, no terrible thunder lizards here. We actually got the Gamera version of this. This is, I'm off camera because I have to grab this and stick it over here. The flourish is too damn good for this Gamera. So here he is. Don't want to break anything here. Get over there. That is Gamera. This beautiful bastard is huge. This is a TOYMAKR3D file. I modified the colors, and that's it. So I did not like I didn't want to have all of mine being silver or gray like this Godzilla is. I even modified that one because I can't seem to leave anything alone. But I did want to have Godzilla out so that you can at least see how the size. They are pretty much toe to toe when it comes to size. So this guy took a lot of filament to print. Gamera took even more. Gamera took almost 2 full spools just for the green part, and I have a little bit of that left just in case I find something that broke or something that needs to be done. Gamera was a piece of work. He took me about 4 to 6 hours. I had to take breaks to even complete. It was an undertaking at a certain point. So I will say, if you want to do one of these, start with one of the smaller ones. Start with like Kong. Even the Gigan is probably smaller. The Kaiju Hunter, I just showed that in another video. That is a smaller one as well. It has a lot of parts, that one does, but this one, half of this I have extra parts of that I have to show you. It's insane how much this takes. In fact, I have to get Godzilla out of here, just so that I can show you all the parts and what they do, etc., etc. So let's get Godzilla out of here. Ooh. Let's get him over there. Godzilla's jaw just flew off. I gotta figure out what's going on there. So, let's take a look at this. I'm gonna grab and I didn't even print everything out because I ran out of filament for other things. But I printed out all the main parts to Gamera himself. As I said, this is TOYMAKR3D without an E. That is how Toymaker is spelled. It is an amazing, this is a piece of art. First thing I do want to say is this piece I decided to do in red, which left the eyes red as well. So I took some reflector tape that I had, and it was blue, and it worked perfectly. It's got hexagons on it. It looks really cool. I'm not sure if that's coming out on the video or not, but there. Looks really cool. His head does go in and out, does have some swivel left and right. Not as much as I would like, honestly. It's a very little bit. But he is also a big-shelled turtle man. You can put blast effects in his mouth. I actually did print some out, but they had so many that you could do, and I want a actual flame effect, so I'm going to look and see. I think I have some from Hasbro that are actually like fire-colored, like red. Actually, I'll keep this one out because this one's going to be used a couple times. There's that. Let's actually drop this down a wee bit. So he measures probably about 1.5 feet, maybe a little less, but you can actually get him to be a little bit taller by pushing that up there and then that there. But it's Gamera. He doesn't need to be that tall. You do have shoulder, arm rotation here. This is a specific joint, so watch that one. We do have this. You can put stuff there. There's a weird little joint here, which I didn't realize what that was for until later. He's got articulated fingers just like Godzilla, but instead of all of them, it's 3 here, plus an index, plus your thumb, which loves to pop out of the socket. His legs, you do have a ball joint there with a twist leg. You do have a thigh swivel, as well as an ankle tilt and rocker there. Everything is held together with these pistons, I guess is the best way to put them. They're little screws that go in and hold the ball joint still. So eventually that's going to be a problem. They do recommend clear coating these, which I'm going to do as soon as it is warm and dry enough outside. Let's get him over here. He does have a tail that articulates. I have not fully finished this one. I usually like to take this, I showed in my Kong video, but I like to take this liquid tape and put it on the inside of the ball, not the ball, the joint part, and let it dry so it's got a nice tight fit. Or sometimes these fall out. These first two, I think, have screws at the bottom, but not all of them. And then you do have this lovely shell here that does have articulation to it, so we can go over that right now. So first thing you want to do is pull this piece out. And then here, you pull out, twist it, and you can actually pull this piece up, and he has like a little gun that comes out. Because it's a mecha. It's a mech. So flip that back down, twist, turns, click it back down. Does it on both sides. Don't need to show you that. Work of art, this thing. I'm telling you. So he's got a couple other things that you can do. They're pretty neat, that without being a, I forgot the toes actually go up or down too. You can see that. He can transform. This is the first one that he's done that has this much modularity to it, I guess. In that too, you can also do the, see his fingers fall out. One of my issues with this guy's stuff is that his fingers are not the best. So you have to put something in there to lock it down so it doesn't fall apart. All right. So let's go over the first thing. The tail. You can actually just pop this out completely, or you can twist this, if I can remember, counterclockwise here. There's a little disc, and I'll show you once we get it out. And if you've watched the 90s Gamera movies, you'll kind of see this. This tail is amazingly huge, but it is unnecessarily huge at times. You can actually get him into pretty much a full like shell only mode. His head is still visible. He does not have anything to make him spin, which is a little bit of a bummer. Not gonna lie there. But you do have this port here where you can put all of these on. All right, so you can stick all those in there. He also has this option where you flip this up. This peg holds onto here, which holds onto here, which holds onto here, which then this spins and locks it up. So now you can print 8 of these out. Beautiful, right? This thing's amazing and crazy. It's a crazing. So we're going to pop him back that way. You got 2 options here. You can actually take it apart at this point, but I'm not going to do that. That would allow you to just have all the hands missing, right? Actually, you know what? I should probably do it once just so you can see this. It's okay. I just don't know if I do have one right here. So I would recommend not using a piece of metal against this, because this is metal versus plastic. This one is really hard to get to. and then you want to go the opposite way you think it's going to go to get this out. So I don't know if there's probably acrylic ones. You might even be able to print once you get it just loose enough, you should just be able to do this. There. And this is way easier to get, because where it is under his arm is not the easiest spot. So there you go. And you see there's already some scuffing here. It's a very messy spot that goes. But while we got this out, you see this blue piece. That's tightening. What am I doing? Is it? Yeah, no, it's loosening. All right. Every time I do it, it's like the opposite way you expect it to be. There we go. And remember I said this looked weird? I initially thought this was meant to be for his, he's got a mode, or he's got like a blade under his arm, and I had asked about it, and they said it was going to be on here, and then it wasn't, so I'm wondering if that might be an add-on. He does update these sometimes on his website, but there's a thing we want to do there. Anyway, so now that you've seen this, we can put this back on. The opposite direction. I don't like that one. I don't think it looks cool, so we're just going to put that back on. The whole reason you do that is if you wanted to specifically have it where he's flying without his arms attached, in kind of the way that in the kaiju movies he does, spinning around and such. But there's no blast effects for that, so it doesn't really look right. We are going to leave this hand off. We're going to spin him around and take the other hand off as well. Yeah, he lost his fingers on this side too. I'm telling you, these hands are not the best. We're going to undo this. This is easy. I'm probably going to put some of that, when I'm done with this video, I'm going to put some of that on his thumbs and his hands and stuff. Got to use a smaller brush for that one though. So we're going to leave those to the side. This actually gets a little heavy, so there's little spots here that you can lock him down as well. He does fully look up for flight mode, which is what we're going to be doing. It just takes a little bit of oomph. Before we get to that, you can pop this piece up, and he does have another spot in his chest that shoots just like one of the movies where that happens. You do also have the ability to pop these up, and that, and I think that's it. So all of these you can attach blast effects to. I had printed these blue ones out, but I kind of don't like them. I want these to be for flight only. I want him to have fire for the rest, so that'll be red. So I got to order some. I'm trying to find a real cool color that like shifts between red and orange and yellow. So I'm looking for that. Let's pop these down for a second. This we can pop completely because we're not going to have that open. That locks it down so these don't accidentally come out. And here's where the fun starts. So we got to take his leg here, completely out. Now the old Gamera, the old one from the old 60s, 70s, I guess, he kind of, let's see how am I going the right way here? Yeah, this way. It was kind of goofy, but in the 90s they had some newer ones, and he was like a weapon at that point instead of just kind of a goofy robot guy or a goofy kaiju babysitter essentially. So in the 90s he got a remake, and that's kind of what this is based on. So that's where this comes in. So this is a base, and I ran out of blue, so I had to use white at the very end. And it's okay. I might paint it. I may just leave it. I don't know. It looks kind of cool with the blue, but always bugs me when you make a plan and then it doesn't work. So then if you look here, each one of these is a little port that goes into. And this is genius. So this is in PETG. Plastic, because if you don't use PETG, This will break in like 2 seconds. Just putting that one out there. PLA would not be able to hold up to this. Very glad I did not glue those in, because there. Now you see, the reason why I don't mind the white as much is because this kind of has like a weird frost to it anyway. Not too sure what happened there, but something happened. Tell you that much. Then we're gonna slap this right there. These are sharp as hell, so they are poking me. Boom, boom, and boom. All right. And there we go. That is a flight mode. It is amazing that these little pieces hold it, but PETG is a wonderful, wonderful little thing. We'll get a little shot from the bottom here. Look at that. Gorgeous. Now, that is kind of a flight mode. They actually have it where you could, as I said, you could take those off and use them. But they also include files to print other pieces. Now, where the heck did those go? There. So right here, we have a shorter tail. This is just a basic no articulation tail versus the giant one that was put right here. So these are two different size tails. That's also a lovely addition. This kind of just slides under here, which I think I was supposed to do without that. Shoot. All right, well, no, it doesn't really matter. But we'll still do that because I don't want to pop those. I just remember this fit. Oh, that's why, because the articulation was up. Whew, scared me for a second. And then these just spin on until you can't spin anymore. Wonderful. I thought this, when it's printed out, I thought I printed the tail twice. And I was like, what the hell? I was so mad about it. So then you can put a blast effect here. And that's his coming out. There's blast effect ports everywhere on this monster. Let's pop these back out. Flip that back up. So we're getting there. Gamera. Oh, I forgot. He also has these where you can print out missiles. But there's no spot on this big enough that makes sense to have a missile come out of, aside from maybe here. So I think I might try to do like a curvature, curvy missile spot so that it looks like he's doing like some sort of ballistics thing where it comes out the back. But I don't really like these missiles. So I don't care about those. Lasers all the way, baby. So this is the part that I was a little confused about. These are his wings. And in the 90s version, he had these crazy wings. So this blue piece goes in that hole. Then once you get that on there, you of course have to... Ooh, don't tell me that locked up. It did. Great. Good old super glue. I wondered if one of these was going to lock up. There we go. So it either doesn't work well or it works too good. That's the law of the super glue. Man, this lock down here, good. Let's try this other one while we're at it. So they are marked left and right. Somewhere on them, there it is. There's the L, so that's the left arm, so this is, of course, going to be the right. This one's spinning like it should. And then you just get it on there and spin it as you're supposed to. Ugh. Ta-da! Now I got to try to finagle this out, which is always fun. I don't know where it's locked in at. Don't believe it's locked in there. Nope. It's got to be in the center. That's fun. And guess what? We're keeping this in because this is stuff you gotta learn. I'm just taking this knife that comes with the 3D printer because it's not sharp, but it's just blunt enough that it might be able to crack some of this. Don't want to put too much pressure on it either because this guy hits you, you're gonna cut yourself real good. I just heard a crack. That's good. Well, that's loose. Just broke that. That's fine. You can 3D print those out a bunch. Where the heck is this locked at? Now we're getting into the dangerous territory that I don't like using, and that's actual knives. Yeah, great. Because when I put this ball joint in here, sometimes it just takes way too long for this stuff to glue in. And this one seems like it glued way too tight on that. But I can't figure out where the glue is hitting. So I don't have anything there. And luckily, if this is one of those ones where I gotta reprint it, it's not terrible because it's just pulling this out and reprinting it. And I, of course, don't have my good pliers in here because I was using them outside. Or I would just pop that out right now and who cares, you know, whatever. Whatever. Okay. It's probably as good as I can get today. Kind of stinks because I won't be able to show you this on here. But I cannot figure out what is locking that in. Man, that is locked on there. In fact, I could probably have just a regular screwdriver. Yeah, we're going to try to do it with just a regular screwdriver this time. Ooh, I heard something pop there. Oh, we're getting some movement now. And if I got to reprint it, I got to reprint it. I actually have tons of this blue. I don't have a lot of the green though, so I want to not break that. This is also a tale to tell here of watch how much super glue you put on these things. There we go. Look at that. Because the problem is you have to put that super glue on there, like, to push this in, to hold it on. So it's like not like you can just not do it. All right. This might be a little tight to get that on there. Yeah. At least I got it. And you know what? We're just going to use this. Hopefully not gouge my thumb. as it almost just did. All right. There you go. And there we go. There's Gamera finally. Jeez. And this piece just clicks right in here. You could glue that if you want to, but I didn't want to glue that quite yet. There you go. And see how loose this is now? That's what those little T-wrenches are for. Which I printed out like 50 of them with this blue, and not realizing that I was going to need. It probably would have been just enough to do that. Like, real stupid. And that one broke. That's why I printed 50 of them out. Hey, look, here's another one. But that one's good now. And that's it. That is Gamera. Let's get a little bit higher of a view here. You know what? We can't even zoom out anymore, so we're going to do that. There he is. This thing is beautiful. I have not... This is a piece of art, honestly. Anyone who says otherwise is just wrong. As I said, check it out. It's from TOYMAKR3D. No E in that name. These are sharp as hell. And it is amazing that this even exists, let alone to the scale that it is. This is printed out 1-to-1 that he has it on. You can actually shrink them down if you want. But I don't know why you'd want to do that. That's silly. You're talking crazy. The size is half of the fun when it comes to this monstrosity. I will say it also satisfies a nice gunpla itch when you are building these, because they are very much like gunpla. It's a model kit, and aside from a few wonky instructions, and if you change colors on things, it does get a little weird too. They're pretty good. I'm going to show you the bottom of that. That looks cool. And then, yeah, the hands can be a little weird at times too. But really, the engineering on this is just top notch. The fact that these little pieces here hold up this giant figure that honestly shouldn't even work. Beautiful. So yeah, there's the, I believe this is called Iron Shell on his website. I called it Gamera the whole time, but it is Iron Shell. Just a lot of really cool engineering went into this. That is just impressive. And I hope you like this review. If you did, you got any questions, leave them below, comment. Until next time, I'm Alpha Magnus. These are toys.